Welcome to another quick review from Ultimate DIY, and today we are going to take a look at the Coffee Bear cold brew system. This is a big system. This thing will actually make up to 44 ounces of cold brew. Now that can be coffee like this one here, which I love my cold brew. Or this can be a iced tea, it could be a lemonade, it could be whatever that you want to make that's a cold brew that you want it to seep. So I have not opened this yet, guys. It's still sealed. I'm going to open it up and we're going to see what comes in the box. And then I've got some water here and a little coffee. We're going to see how hard it is to actually mix this stuff. So let's take a quick look. So you're going to lift up the top and it comes with, it looks like, instructions at the very, very top. It's actually not instructions, that's actually warranty. When I'm looking at the top of this, it has foam. It's actually doubled, actually tripled. So I have triple foam at the top to keep it from getting broken in transit, which, none of us have ever had that problem before, right? Then you look inside here, and this is the actual unit, and it has foam wrapped all the way around it, just like that. You pull it out. I have some foam at the bottom, just like at the top. We're going to go ahead and just set that over here for a minute. Now you're going to unwrap the foam, and there's the unit itself. They have this bubble wrapped and taped. So you're going to break the tape loose and pull off the bubble wrap. Now I do like that because it's got bubble wrap with the air bubbles in it and the foam all the way wrapped around on the top, on the bottom. I mean, they're trying to make sure that this makes it to you without any problem. Pull it open and there it is. And I will tell you, that's a nice looking unit. Actually, it's even nicer in person out of the box than it was in the picture on the box. Now, this has the very familiar type top that just twists off. It's very flat, has a O-ring that kind of locks it into place so that it does not allow the water to come up and go back through these seep holes. And I shouldn't say water, allows the water and the coffee mix to come up, because you don't want the granules out here, and that's what'll happen if you don't have this little O-ring. And that another thing I like about this is it's going to allow me to turn just like that, block granules from coming in, but I can actually pour through the weep holes that comes up and pour coffee out of this without having to take the whole unit apart until I'm ready. A lot of units, you literally have to go ahead and pull the coffee out of the center of it, clean all that up, let that set for a second, set up your cup, and then, and only then, do you actually get to use your coffee. So that's a very nice little feature to this. It has a nice handle to hold on to so I can pour, I can move it around. The actual container itself is glass. I can fill it all the way around. It looks like it's going to be fairly easy to clean. We'll see that when we open it. But it even has a rubber grip at the bottom here so that you're not going to bust this by setting it down too hard, at least not easily. And this will come off so that you can clean this and then put this back on. So I do like that as well. So it's kind of like a little bumper guard. Now let's see how hard it is to get the unit out. So we know the top comes off. We'll set that over here. And we are going to twist it just like that. And there is your actual full-blown little instructions inside of it. It takes about 12 to 15 hours for this to actually brew correctly. And what I will do is I will set mine up the night before, and I'll either put it in the fridge or even leave it on the counter. It doesn't really hurt, but I like to put mine in the refrigerator. I like it already cold so I don't have to put as much ice in the unit the next day. So one of the things that we were mentioning is it looks like it's easy to clean, and it does. So if you pull this off, you can see there's no edges around here. A lot of the units that I've seen kind of have an hourglass little shape to the bottom of them, and your granules and things and old coffee tends to get stuck up under there, and it's hard to clean. This is extremely easy to get a brush in and clean. Everything is kind of rounded off without having any hard edges to get to. This can also go in a dishwasher really simply. Now, let's take a look at the heart of the system. This is the heart of your system. This is where you're going to do the work. Now, this should just turn and come off, which it does. This one does not have a top on it because it's going to have the silicone ring blocking any granules from coming up and getting into the actual mix, the water side of your coffee. This has a removable cap on the bottom, which is also great. You can clean the cap very easily, get all the granules out, and you can put this underneath your sink and wash the granules out and get it out easy now because you don't have the bottom on there. Now, one of the things that makes a really good cold brewer is going to be the mesh. And this is a very fine, very nicely made mesh. I've seen some that the mesh is just too big. You know, there's some that are steel, and the steel just lets too much. And when I say steel, it looks like a cheese grater almost, and it allows that coffee grind to get through the actual mesh and into the water, or through that material and into your water. And it makes a very soupy type of cold brew, and I don't like that. I like my cold brew just like you're going to go get it at a coffee shop like Starbucks or something like that. That's what I like. So this is very nicely made, and there's a lot of it, which means that it's going to seep through very well. So what we're going to do real quick is we're going to go ahead, use a little bit of Starbucks coffee here, and I'm going to show you how you actually do this. Now, if you read the instructions, they're all going to tell you to fill this to the top. Well, I'm here to tell you, unless you like your coffee really strong, and unless you like going through a whole lot of coffee, I would probably only do about half. Sometimes even a little less than that, depending on the coffee, because this will work with pretty much any coffee. If you're using a very strong, bold coffee, you're obviously not going to want it that strong, so you can come down a little bit and you're going to be fine. You can also do that obviously with teas and everything else, so you can mix it till you get it to where you like that flavor. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to pour a little in, and I'm only going to pour probably about half or 3/4 just to give you a demonstration of how this works. We're at about, okay, we're right about, that's about 1/4 of it. Actually, that's about 1/3. So we got about 1/3 there. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take this lid, set it back down. There's some grooves it has to go on. You'll feel it lock, and then it'll turn until it clicks. Now we are actually all the way on. Now I'm going to take it and I'm going to twist the unit onto the glass. Got to move your hand back a little because this bar is going to hit your hand. There we go. Let's see. Find the way to get that started. Sometimes you got to go backwards and then forwards again to get it to start right. There we go, we're on. Very easy. Now, since we have the slots here, this one does not have a little funnel with it. What you're going to want to do is use a picture or something like this, or put it directly into the sink and make sure that your water goes directly into the unit here. Now, it isn't totally 100% important there, because that water is still going to mix with the coffee on the inside. But I like to run my water through the coffee so I get the best mix right off the bat. So I pour it in, and I keep pouring, and you're going to see it's already changing color. Yeah, I probably could have used just a little more water. This is a pretty good size unit. Take this, put it on, just like that. Now I can actually spin this around a little, make sure I've got the water in there good, and then I just set it aside and let it set for that 12-14 hours. Now I have let these set for 2 days. Does not hurt the coffee one bit. Matter of fact, it still tastes great. But you want to go at least 12 hours. Now how I like to mix mine, I will take a cup. I have a whole bunch of these little Starbucks type cups left over from when I would go to Starbucks. I rinse them out and I use them, and I love the insulating sleeves. Put that on. I'll even use the lids. So I clean them up, and I'll use these 4 or 5 times. Now if you want a permanent, glass, probably made of glass or something, that is great too. I just like these because they're portable, and I carry it off to my job sites, and I don't have to worry about remembering to bring them back. If I lose it, I lose it. I just want to make sure I always keep my sleeve. So all that being said, what I do is I will mix some whole whipping cream in the morning, and I will use something like stevia or a little bit of some sugar-free type sweeteners. And then I'll get that in, and then I go ahead and I pour my coffee in on top of it, mix it really well, and then put some ice, and then I'm out the door. So I did not have to make the trip to the coffee store. I did not have to spend that money. I saved all that time, and I'm good to go. So do yourself a favor and pick yourself up one of these coffee brewers today. I don't think you'll regret it, and we will see you guys on the next review.